What? You think you're a better news reporter than me? Come up to the screen and say that.
Fine then, I will. I'm a better news reporter than you ever could.
You're watching Pat Plays. It's time for another episode of Coffee and Nostalgia, and today I want to take another look at my horror fan films from the past. And again take a look at the DVDs and Blu-rays which I own of these franchises. But I think we first need to take a look at where these horror fan films started. So all the way back in 2004, me and my friend Matthew Pritchard and his younger brothers made our first ever movie together called Scream Again. So this was actually the first time I'd ever been involved with making a film using a camcorder that didn't record to some kind of tape. This was the first digital camcorder that I'd ever used. And it was also the first time I'd ever seen editing software on a computer. And that's thanks to Matthew, who edited all of this on Windows Movie Maker. And you can tell that we hadn't really got to grips with editing just yet because we didn't even realize that you could actually slow down clips using Windows Movie Maker. And so the entire end fight scene, we actually acted the whole thing out in slow motion. So that was Scream Again from 2004, the first ever film that me and Matthew made together. And then a year later, of course, we made the sequel Scream Again Louder, which was even wackier and more stupid than the first one, and had even less of a storyline going for it. But of course, we honestly didn't care. We were just happy to be making a film together and just having a laugh. I mean, this was all before YouTube, so we were just making films just to watch them back ourselves, just to entertain ourselves. So then 2 years later, in 2007, we finally got to work in making the third and final chapter of this Scream Again trilogy, Scream Again 3.
You'll never dress up as Scream again or kill.
So that is the Scream Again films, which of course we got most of our inspiration for from the Scary Movie films. So this here is the DVD box set for Scary Movie 1 to 4. So there you've got Scary Movie, Scary Movie 2, Scary Movie 3.5, which is the extended edition, and then lastly Scary Movie 4. So the next big horror franchise, which I've not covered yet in any of the Coffee and Nostalgia videos, is Friday the 13th. The first one being from April of 2008, and this is called Friday the 13th, The Return of Jason Voorhees. And this is a prime example of me, Matthew and his brothers making a film together and just not being able to do anything serious whatsoever. So we started this with the aim of making a serious horror fan film, but once we're all together with a camera in front of us, we just can't help but come up with these ridiculous scene ideas. Stuff like this.
Will you be alright on your own here for a while? I just have to go and take a whiz.
But as well as the dumb jokey bits like that, it actually has a pretty gnarly death scene. So that was the return of Jason Voorhees from April 2008, and then not long later in October of 2008 I made another short fan film called The Real Friday the 13th. And this was supposed to be one of those film-in-film gags where you start off watching the movie, but then from behind the camera you hear me shouting cut, and then it reveals that I'm actually making a fan film with my friends Joe and Lewis.
Whoa, Lewis, stop! Lewis, just stop!
So the next time the Jason Voorhees character made an appearance in one of my films was in a short sketch from October 2009 called A Catch the Pigeon Halloween Special. Catch the Pigeon was the name of the acoustic duo band that me and Felix called ourselves. And as you already know, Felix previously played the Cronenberg King in Foster's Boy and Calling Kid 3, Revenge of the Alcohol Alliance.
Hey look, I'm a Transformer!
And I'm going to show you now one of my absolute favourite scenes that I've ever filmed, where through the entire thing you can hear me laughing and giggling behind the camera because I just could not control myself.
Trick or treat! What the hell, man? It's a freaking kid! Trick, motherfucker!
Another cameo in this little short film was by Oliver Call, who previously, again in Revenge of the Alcohol Alliance, played the flamboyant Stella Swine. And this is him getting killed by Jason Voorhees just because he happened to be there on the night that we were filming.
Holy shit! Damn, I'm totally dead.
And then finally, at the end of the sketch, Felix destroys Jason Voorhees with the power of rock. So that was a Catch the Pigeon Halloween special from October of 2009, and there wouldn't be any more Jason Voorhees appearances in my videos until October of 2012, when me and Aki made that unaired Halloween special called Bane's Nightmare.
Hey! Trick or treat!
Bane, what are you doing here?
I'm here for the Halloween party.
What Halloween party?
He did the Monster Mash.
And that's me dressed up as him dancing away alongside Freddy Krueger, who's being portrayed by Aki. And then the final time that there was any Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees hints in any of my videos was in October of 2015, when me and Aki uploaded the Pat and Aki sketch Billy's Halloween. During which, alongside the Evil Dead Necronomicon book and also the Freddy Krueger claw, you can also see Jason's machete hanging on the wall, and then in order to frighten Billy, Bad Dad himself wears that Jason Voorhees hockey mask.
Oh, I got you, Billy! Got you with the old Halloween prank.
So now let's quickly take a look at my Friday the 13th DVD and Blu-ray collection. Starting with one of the first ever horror DVD box sets that I ever bought, and that's this Friday the 13th From Crystal Lake to Manhattan Ultimate Edition DVD collection. So this box set includes Friday the 13th 1 to 8, which isn't actually every Friday the 13th film, and that's because this is only the ones that were owned by Paramount Pictures. And it's called From Crystal Lake to Manhattan because the 8th Friday the 13th film is called Jason Takes Manhattan. So starting off with the first set here, you get Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 2. In the next set we get Friday the 13th Part 3, which was also Friday the 13th Part 3D because it was released in 3D. And then we have Friday the 13th, the final chapter, which of course, as we all know, was not the final chapter because in the next set, this includes Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, and Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. And then the last case of this box set includes Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, and Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. So next up we have the DVD of Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, which is the 9th film in the franchise. Next up on DVD we have Jason X, or Jason 10. This is the 10th film in the franchise. And in case you've been living under a rock, this is the film where Jason goes to space. Next up we have one of my absolute favourite horror slasher films ever, and this is Freddy vs. Jason. And this one actually is a 2-disc set, and it actually is really jam-packed with special features and behind the scenes featurettes on how they made the film. And finally, on DVDs, we have the Platinum Dunes remake of Friday the 13th. And this came out around the time of the boom of these horror slasher remakes, where we also got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Nightmare on Elm Street. So now moving on to Blu-rays of Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, the complete collection. So while that DVD set was only Friday the 13th 1 through 8, this box set includes all 12 of the Friday the 13th films, including Freddy vs. Jason and that remake. Inside, all of the discs are housed inside this nice little booklet, and then each of the films has its own little 2-page spread with some of the artwork and a few shots from the film itself. There at the end you've got Freddy vs. Jason, and there's that remake Friday the 13th. And these are all 1080p Blu-ray versions of the films. And then also included in this set you get this nice little Camp Crystal Lake Counselor's patch. As you can see, I've still left that unopened. You get 2 pairs of classic 3D cinema glasses, just in case you want to watch Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D, how it was intended to be watched at the cinema. And then right at the back here you've got this awesome little booklet called Crystal Lake Memories, the complete history of Friday the 13th, complete with tons of behind the scenes shots and quotes taken from actors and crew talking about their time spent making these films. So yeah, that's the Friday the 13th complete collection Blu-ray box set, and this is another one of those horror fan holy grails, just like that Halloween box set that I've shown you. At no extra cost, the seller that I bought it from on eBay also included this huge Friday the 13th book, which is the full version of that booklet which I showed you from the Blu-ray box set. Crystal Lake Memories, the complete history of Friday the 13th. And this thing is absolutely enormous, and it is jam-packed with tons of information about the making of every single Friday the 13th in the franchise. And I'm yet to get through this entire thing because, I mean, just look at it. So this is definitely a must buy and a must read for any horror fan and any Friday the 13th fan. So next on our list of horror franchises is one that I'm not actually that big of a fan of, and that is the Saw franchise. So I never actually made any full-on Saw horror fan films, but in June of 2010, me and Aki made one of our really early Pat and Aki style sketches, simply called Pat and Aki Do Saw. And the video finishes in that classic Pat and Aki shock ending, which would become the norm when we were frequently uploading videos in 2015.
Could you at least throw me the key?
Sure, here you go.
Oh, dude. I got it!
So the next time we referenced the Saw franchise wasn't until October of 2013 in the 6th episode of Horror Week Season 2. And so because the video we were going to be showing was based on the Saw series, we wanted the introduction to that episode to also be based on Saw. And what's funny is that in the episode following, we actually show the aftermath of this with Igor's arm being all wrapped up in a bloodied stump.
And so, from all of us here at the Movie Morgue, myself and Igor, we would like to say thank you for watching this year's Horror Week.
So those are the only 2 times that we ever did anything based on the Saw films. So now let's take a look at my Saw DVD collection. So first up we have this DVD box set, which is actually one of my favourite box sets I've ever purchased. And that is the Saw Goreology. So as you can see, the whole box of this box set is made out to look like the tape recorder which the Jigsaw Killer would leave for the victims of his traps to play back his instructions. How awesome is that? I mean, come on. And all 5 of the films are inside this one DVD case. So you open that up and there you've got the uncut version of Saw, the first film. There's Saw 2, Saw 3, the Extreme Edition, Saw 4, another Extreme Edition, and then finally Saw 5, which again is an Extreme Edition. So these are obviously all the uncut, goriest versions of the films. So of course, being a bit of a completionist at the time, once they released Saw 6 on DVD, I also had to get that. And so here it is, Saw 6, again another Extreme Edition, complete with audio commentary and a few making of featurettes. And then finally, yet another Extreme Edition. Here we have Saw 7, or Saw the Final Chapter, which I believe also went by Saw 3D when it was released in the cinema, because I actually remember watching this film in the cinema when 3D came back and there was all of a sudden this big hype about films being filmed in 3D. And I'm pretty sure that since then they've made a few more Saw films, but I never bothered to watch any of them, and so my Saw collection ends there. Whilst we're on the topic of horror fan films and homages, let's take a look at these Stranger Things Blu-ray releases of Season 1 and Season 2, which are the biggest homages to 70s and 80s horror that there is. So both of these are actually American only releases, and they were also exclusively sold at a store called Target. And so I managed to purchase both of these as they were released whilst I was in Florida, where they have Target stores. So I absolutely love these Blu-ray sets and I cannot wait for the 3rd one to be released. By which point I'll probably end up getting them all in the 4K versions as well. And then also, thanks to Aki and Sam, I have the Stranger Things Season 1 soundtrack on vinyl. This is an awesome display piece which the guys actually got me for my birthday one year, because it's actually thanks to the 2 of them that my obsession of Stranger Things started. After weeks and weeks and weeks of telling me that I have to watch Stranger Things and telling me that it's absolutely perfect for me, I finally gave in and started watching it, and I'm so thankful that they kept pestering me and telling me to watch it. And finally, I have this awesome little artwork print which is based on Stranger Things Season 2, and this was made by an artist called Barrett Biggers, which is an artist who I actually found through Instagram, and found out that he sold his prints at a store that was at Universal Studios. And so I bought this incredible print, and I'm just waiting for a time that I actually have a proper office space where I can frame this thing and put it up on the wall where it belongs. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. So I hope you've enjoyed another look at my horror fan films from the past and some more of my DVDs and Blu-rays of these franchises. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you again next time.